I want to talk about the Lakers real quick, Daniel. Lakers are sitting at 12-10, and they just keep dropping games over and over again. They're on a 2-game losing streak, an embarrassing loss to the Miami Heat, an embarrassing loss to the Timberwolves. And all JJ Redick can come up and say is, we need more practice time. Apparently, that's what he's saying. The Lakers need more practice time. You know what I think is happening? I think that the Lakers did a poor job the last couple of seasons really trying to execute how this roster is going to look without LeBron James.
Mhm.
And I think right now they're relying on a 40-year-old player to be the engine that ignites this team on a consistent basis. Anthony Davis has proven he could be dominant both sides of the ball, offense and defense. He has proven that when he is on, he is on, but when he is off, he is off. And the Lakers tend to struggle on those numbers. Also, the part that kind of hurts them is outside of LeBron, outside of Anthony Davis, who is going to be that consistent scorer. I even will say at this point, LeBron James isn't going to be your primary scorer night in and night out. He's
Mhm.
not going to be, right? There have been games where LeBron James gets like 15, 16 points. And to be honest with you, in today's NBA, that's just not enough. You need another guy that is going to be able to put on the offensive cape and take this team to the next level. They don't have that. They're relying on role players, guys like Austin Reeves, right? Who I like Austin Reeves. He's won me a lot of money through the years. But the fact of the matter is, Austin Reeves is what he is. Then you look at a guy like Dalton Connect, you're now relying on a rookie to provide you with that. D'Angelo Russell is probably the most inconsistent player. You know, I think about it, man, and the losses have started to pile up time and time and time again now for the Lakers. Dan, I'm really curious to hear what your thoughts are on the whole Los Angeles Lakers situation, and more importantly, what do you think they need to do in order to get this thing corrected?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't. They got two options.
Mhm.
You either go out and trade for somebody like a De'Aaron Fox, like a star that can pair with these guys, and you can go out and win a championship. Or there's a real possibility, Malik, this team's done. There's a real possibility where LeBron James has kind of made his plans and his decision very clear to the organization, very clear to Anthony Davis, very clear to the entire NBA, saying, "Hey, I brought Bronny in. We made something happen, and we got that moment that'll last forever. Um, I'm retiring after this
Mhm.
year, or I'm looking to say, hey, my career's not much longer, and I'm going to be honest, Malik. I think that there's a real chance, too, if I'm Anthony Davis, who's about to turn 32 in March, and I hear LeBron James, me and him talking behind closed doors saying, yo, I'm out after this year. There's a chance I could want out of LA. And there's a chance where if I'm looking at the Lakers, you have to look at their GM, Rob Pelinka. You have to look at that front office and say, hey, what is your plan post LeBron James? Are you going to bring in another star to pair with Anthony Davis? Or do you blow it up? Because it's very clear to me that there is a lack of star offensive talent outside of Anthony Davis, but
Mhm.
there's a clear lack of chemistry. There's a clear lack of consistency, and there's a clear lack of a championship winning culture in Los Angeles right now.
One thing I will say though, I believe that JJ Redick is a guy you could build with for the
Yes.
future. That is what I will say. So like whatever happens this season, I hope the Lakers don't get too down on themselves. I hope Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka don't say, "Hey, we need to move off of JJ Redick." I don't believe that. I think that you have gone through multiple coaches now with LeBron James, and maybe it's just at a point now where you need to shake this team up to a
Mhm.
degree. You can't worry about what suits LeBron, even though LeBron James is your superstar on the team, even though you built this team in LeBron's image in a way.
Mhm.
You can't worry about what it is because soon or later, LeBron has started to increase chatter talks about leaving, retiring, the whole 9 yards, right? And be honest with you, if I didn't see LeBron James playing the rest of his days with the Los Angeles Lakers, he wouldn't have signed the new deal that he signed,
Mhm.
right? I think that that was a mistake on his part. I thought that that was, uh, you know, it was a premature decision he made, but he must have had some insurance that hey, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna bring in Bronny. We're gonna draft your son, right? We're
Yep.
gonna bring your son in, and we're gonna make him a two-way player for us, the whole 9 yards, and we'll take care of him because that's the only thing I could think that was attractive for LeBron to stay in LA. You had other options. Like he's at the point in his career where he could latch on to one of these contending teams, right? And just be a viable option for them. He's at that point of his career. I don't think it's realistic to think LeBron James at 40 years old, I said 43,
Hmm.
at 40 years old could carry the mantle of a team time and time again and expect it to be the results to be a little bit different. But I do believe in JJ Redick. I do
Yes.
agree that JJ Redick probably needs more practice time. But you got to ask yourself, all right, you're playing back-to-back games. You're playing a lot of, you're playing a lot of games in a short span of days, and then you're also practicing. What type of toll does that take on a guy like Anthony Davis, who's been injury prone? What type of toll does that take on a 40-year-old LeBron James, who has been dealing with foot injuries for like the last 4 seasons, right? And then you get to the spot where those guys don't seem like they're consistent, or those guys can work with how things are currently structured. I don't know if there's any star unless you get an actual another superstar in here that would come in and basically overtake LeBron James as that offensive scorer and be able to work in tandem with Anthony Davis. I don't know if you're winning anything special. I also don't know what a package of D'Angelo Russell gets you. D'Angelo
Yeah.
Russell, Austin Reeves, or whoever, or maybe Rui Hachimura. I don't know what those guys get you, but also, are you willing to sacrifice depth,
Yep.
right? Bench depth, wing depth. Are you willing to sacrifice all of that for the sake of just trying to open up a window? Because if you go out there and you trade for a star right now, which I think Dalton Connect could be in time, not superstar. I want to make sure I'm clear about it because Daniel says there's a difference between superstar and star. Um, if you go out there and you trade for a star right now, well, what does that look like? What does that do to the depth of your team? Because right now the Lakers remind me very much of the Raptors the last couple of years before they went out and they traded a bunch of their guys. You look at the roster and you say, wow, there's a lot of good names, a lot of notable names, a lot of guys that we know, good defense, guys that could shoot the three. But the issue is with guys like that, they're all role players and they're inconsistent. And when you actually need someone to step up and take over as the leader of the team, well, you're pretty much left like, who do we turn to? Well, I feel like it's easier to shut Anthony Davis down in the closing moments of a game because you know what he's going to do. You know what they're trying to do with him. You need someone that's going to be able to set up that offense for him. Anthony Davis can create for himself to a degree, but he's much better in the pick and roll situation and when he has it made, essentially. I don't know what that star looks like. Daniel has floated the name of LaMelo Ball out there once before in our discussions. Could that make sense? Sure. Would he want to go to the Lakers after how they treated his brother? I don't know. Would he want to play with LeBron James after LeBron James treated? I have no idea. So you have to ask yourself, what does that look like? Who would they want? Who would they bring in here that realistically right now that could shake up the roster? Danny, do you have any names on the tip of your tongue? Parker, if you want to jump in a conversation at any point in time, you can too, brother. But don't feel like you have to. The Lakers are a sinking ship.
Yeah. I think it's one of two ways. And I think that, to stick on the trade stuff real quick, De'Aaron Fox, Zach LaVine, and LaMelo Ball. Those are the three names. LaMelo Ball is the prized possession. He is the guy I think would be perfect because he not only helps you now, but he is the guy that you will build around in the future. There's a world where if LeBron James leaves and Anthony Davis wants out, you can still build around LaMelo Ball. The issue is you're going to have to pay up a lot for LaMelo Ball. First off, he's on a massive contract, and you'd have to give up Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, potentially even like a Rui Hachimura. He is going to command a lot. So I would say LaMelo Ball is the premier guy. He's only 23, 24 years old, so you can build around him for the future. Zach LaVine is an offensive scorer. You can go out and try to win now. He helps you for a couple years. I just don't think he's a superstar. I think he's a very good scorer. And De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is a guy, he's got 2 years left on his deal. Sacramento Kings are kind of, all over the place. They brought in DeMar DeRozan. It's not working out right now. So I would say it's one of those three guys. But if not, Malik, I think that the point that you said about JJ Redick, and once again, I've been very high on him. There is no person who comes out of, the opportunity that he had, the podcast that he had, the lifestyle that he had to be a head coach just for LeBron James. I think this dude is in it for the love of the game, and I think this dude is in it to at least see this through. So I would not be shocked if this doesn't work out, if they don't try to trade for somebody, if they trade Anthony Davis and they go for a full rebuild.
I'm gonna go
Redick.
deeper. I'm gonna go deeper. Park. I'm gonna say something, bro, that I've never said before. If the Lakers continue to falter like this, at what point at management do you, pretty much sit down, you have a conversation with LeBron James, and you ask him, where would you want to go? At what point at management do you say, we realize you want to win a championship. We're probably not in a spot where you can win a championship. Maybe it's best to ship LeBron James somewhere because LeBron isn't just playing just to play at this point, right? He's obviously trying to win championships. He had the cool moment where he played with his son briefly, and then it came and went.
Yeah.
I think there's a realistic shot that the Lakers and LeBron James could entertain a trade. Listen, LeBron James is all about doing things that have never been done before. He's never been traded before. He's never been remotely close to being traded by certain teams before. But I also think that if you're going to do a rebuild and if you're serious about building a rebuild, it's probably better to get something of value for LeBron James now than to let him just retire.
Yes.
That's just my thought process. Let me ask you a question. You know, I love what Gary Jellison just said. He said LeBron back to Cleveland. Let me throw out an idea for you. What if the Lakers did do that? Right? What if they did, you know, got a couple of picks back, but they also traded a guy like Darius Garland? Mm-hmm. Right? There's been some issues with his consistency. Right? Does that make sense? It could.
I would need more.
But if I was the Cleveland, I'm not breaking up my tandem right now. I'm not breaking up my tandem from LeBron James. I'm not doing that personally. Mm-hmm. But if you're another team, out there, you have to realistically entertain it. You already know he's locked into a contract. LeBron is undoubtedly going to be able to control where he wants to go, but it makes sense. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. You want to give JJ Redick a fighting chance to be a head coach. JJ Redick isn't the head coach of LeBron James's, championship future. JJ Redick is the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. So he has to do what's best for the Los Angeles Lakers. Jeannie Buss has to do what's best for the Los Angeles Lakers. They can't think with the mentality that, oh, wow, we're going to have LeBron James for the next 5. Because as an organization, that's how you should be thinking. You should be thinking to yourself, how long do we have this guy here? Realistically, will LeBron James be with the Lakers in the next 5 years? No. Right? Mm-hmm. And you want a reason for Anthony Davis to feel hopeful that he needs to stay. You want a reason. To me, that could make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always I have a really crazy trade idea in mind, but I don't think it happens.
Let's hear it. You just say it.
What if you trade LeBron to the Mavericks? You do a Kyrie Irving swap. Kyrie's always wanted to play with LA. Kyrie play with Anthony Davis, which I think they would excel together personally. Let LeBron play with Luka. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think both of those teams, that'd be a win-win situation. Mm-hmm. I think if both of those teams wanted to play with each other, they would have played with each other. I mean, both of those guys would have played each other since Cleveland days. They would have played with each other by now. That's just my thought process. Yeah. That might sound crazy.
No, I don't think the thought process of a potential trade for
they're definitely missing a big man. They're definitely missing a consistent big man. Right now, you're relying on Najee Marshall, PJ Washington, mm-hmm. Daniel Gafford. Yeah. Come on now.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think that it's like you said, I think that you see how the rest of the season, the season progresses. And if they continue to go on this downward spiral, I would definitely entertain a Anthony Davis trade, LeBron James trade.
Well, but you don't have to trade Anthony Davis.
Yeah, but
you don't have to. To me, that's doing too much harm.
But I also
need a superstar. Listen. The whole idea is you want to sell Anthony Davis on a star to play next to you. You don't got to rip it up. You ain't got to tear it up. You want to keep Anthony Davis in LA.
Hear
me out. You want to keep Anthony Davis in LA.
Yeah.
You want to.
Yeah.
So this move is all predicated on what Anthony Davis's future with LA looks like, not with LeBron James, because Anthony Davis realistically will be here a lot longer than LeBron James. That's the hope. That's the mentality as an organization I would be thinking on. Now, for me, I don't give a damn about either. Right? Yeah. That's just me. Mm-hmm. But I just look at the situation and I say, yo, I don't care what LeBron James thinks. I don't care what D'Angelo Russell thinks. I care about what one guy thinks, and that's the guy we traded our entire future to get, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, I'm going to pair you up with a point guard, a guy that you could dominate the pick and roll with, a guy that you could truly excel and accentuate your skill set with. And we're going to use the rest of this season to prove to you that we're all in on winning while also all in on you. LeBron has said it for the last 2 years. This is Anthony Davis team. This is Anthony Davis team. This is Anthony Davis team. Like, okay, well, if it's Anthony Davis's team, think with the mentality that we are trying to keep Anthony Davis happy.
Yeah.
LeBron James, listen, he's got his rings. He's got his championship. His legacy cemented. He's either the number 1 or number 2 greatest NBA player of all time. I'm not thinking with the thought process of what a 40-year-old player wants. I'm not. I'm saying to myself, yo, if I could trade LeBron James and get slightly younger and get a Kyrie Irving or get a young player that could make a difference on our team, I'm doing it. I'm calling teams like the Houston Rockets and saying, yo, y'all have a crazy core there. You have a crazy core there, but it seems like it's a lot of names and y'all don't know what to do with it. Hey, how about we swap some guys out for LeBron James? I'm calling the Mavericks and saying, yo, I'll give you I'll give you LeBron, Kyrie Irving. Give me a couple picks. Give me another player or two. I'm doing that. I'm calling the Golden State Warriors saying, well, Bron and Steph always wanted to play together. What does it take to get that guy over there with you guys and get us some to recoup some assets? That's what I'm doing. I'm calling the Cavaliers. There are strategic teams that I think make sense for a LeBron James trade. And I never thought I'd be in this position or the spot to call for LeBron James change, but I think we're entering into that territory. Listen, it's easier to swap one guy out, right? And recoup a bunch of assets and a bunch of picks and a bunch of players that can help towards your future versus trading the whole pie. This isn't LeBron James from the Cleveland Cavaliers 2015. You're not going to just shake up the entire team for the sake of a 40-year-old player. We're not on that level anymore. The fact of the matter is the focal point for the Los Angeles Lakers should be Anthony Davis. The focal point for the Los Angeles Lakers trying to bring a championship to LA should be Anthony Davis. It should not be LeBron James. It should not be predicated on what LeBron James wants to do, because LeBron James is going to do what LeBron James wants to do. LeBron James got the opportunity. He got the moment to play with his son. Guess what? Let Bronny figure out what he's going to do with the rest of his playing career. He got the moment. He got all the money from the Lakers. He did that. He brought a championship to LA, albeit it was the bubble championship. He got all that. Nothing that we do as an organization moving forward is predicated on what LeBron wants. Because if LeBron was going to do something with this team right now, he would have did it when we got him D'Lo, when he was clamoring for that. He would have did it when we got him Rui Hachimura. He would have did it when we got him Jared Vanderbilt. He would have did all those things, right? You talk high praise about a guy like Darvin Ham, then you throw him under the bus. We've given LeBron everything he wanted. We brought in Russell Westbrook. People forget these are moves that LeBron James was clamoring for, right? And maybe I'm taking off the LeBron goggles now, but I'm not doing anything. I don't care what professional sport you're in. Do not predicate anything you do off of a 40-year-old player that has no future with your team. It's bad business. The only person that it made sense for is a guy that brought a championship to Tampa Bay, and that was Tom Brady. That's the only guy it made sense for. But an aging player with a bad foot makes no goddamn sense. I'm just tired of the Lakers completely tearing up their future for LeBron James, and LeBron James is strictly worried about LeBron James. It was a selfish move for him to say, hey, y'all need to bring my son in, or I'm going to go wherever I got the best chance to play with my son. Okay, so that tells you right there, Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka, he don't care about the Lakers. He does not care about Anthony Davis. He doesn't care about championships. It's about legacy. It's about what he wants, right? So stop predicating your future off of what a 40-year-old star that clearly throws everybody under the goddamn bus, right, to help further his agenda. Stop predicating everything on what that guy wants. Stop predicating it. He signed off on the JJ Redick hire. Then he said, oh, no, I'm not the coach. That's above my pay grade. What? You asked that. That's the same guy you were doing a podcast with. And they brought in to strictly help you. They literally gave your son a couple of year deal, and it was like $9 million? Like, what do you, like, who does that? Who gets drafted in the second round and then gets that much money? They've done everything to help this guy. They've done everything to make this guy feel comfortable. Who gives a fuck what LeBron James wants? He's 40 years old. Trade him. Get some assets. I'm not dying on LeBron James Hill. I'm not doing that anymore. Like, the fact of the matter is, see what you can get out from him. He's still an asset in this league. Obviously, he's one of the greatest players to ever suit up in the NBA. But don't predicate your future on what he wants. Who cares what he wants? Do you care that much? I don't care what he wants. If you want to act like a functioning organization, if you're truly serious about bringing another championship to LA, and you want to open up this window, you worry about what Anthony Davis wants. You worry about keeping that guy secure. Because guess what? If you don't play your cards correctly, LeBron James is going to leave, he's going to retire, and then Anthony Davis is going to one out, and you're going to be left with who? Who do you build off of? That's my point.